Jake Miller pressed his face against the cold window of the mining station. The red sun was setting behind the rocky hills, painting the sky orange and purple. He could see the big machines digging in the distance, sending up clouds of dust. His breath made fog on the glass as he watched. "Jake, come eat dinner," his mother called from the kitchen area of their small home. Dr. Lisa Miller was tired after another long day treating miners who got hurt on the job. The colony of New Haven was not an easy place to live, but it was home. Jake ran to the table where his father Pete was already sitting. Pete Miller worked on the big machines that dug up the special rocks from deep underground. His hands were always dirty, even after washing them 3 times. "Did you see anything cool today, Dad?" Jake asked, spooning soup into his mouth. "Found a new cave system in Sector 7, Pete said. "Real deep. Makes funny sounds when the wind blows through it." Jake's eyes got big. "Can we go explore it?" "No way, little man. Too dangerous. Plus, Captain Barnes says we need to stay close to the main buildings after dark." "Why?" Jake asked. His parents looked at each other. Lisa put down her spoon. "There have been some strange readings on the sensors. Probably just wild animals, but we want to be safe." Jake nodded but kept thinking about the cave. He loved exploring, even though his parents always told him to stay near home. The colony was boring most of the time. All the grown-ups worked hard and looked tired. The other families with kids lived far away in different parts of the mining station. After dinner, Jake played with his toy spaceship in the living room. It was silver and made cool sounds when he pressed the buttons. He flew it around the room, making engine noises with his mouth. "Time for bed, Jake," Lisa said. "Can I play a little longer? Please? 15 more minutes, then teeth brushing and sleep." Jake grinned and went back to flying his spaceship. He made it land on the couch, which was now an alien planet. The couch. Aliens needed help, and Captain Jake was here to save them. Outside the Miller family home, something moved in the shadows between the buildings. It was tall and thin, with rough skin like a lizard. Its eyes glowed yellow in the dark, and sharp claws clicked against the metal walls as it moved. Kethvar had been watching the human colony for 3 days now. He knew where all the adults worked and when they slept. He knew which buildings had the most people and which ones were empty at night. Most important, he knew about the small human cub who lived with the 2 adults in Building 7. The young Zalani warrior had traveled far from his home world to reach this place. His ship was hidden in the mountains, invisible to human sensors. This was his first hunt alone, and he needed to prove himself to his people. Zalani culture was built on strength and hunting. Every young warrior had to kill an intelligent being from another species to become a full adult. It was the old way, the only way his people knew. Kethvar had studied humans before coming here. They seemed weak and soft compared to other species. No claws, no thick skin, no natural weapons. The adult humans carried tools that could hurt him, but the cub would be easy prey. He moved closer to Building 7, staying in the shadows. His special ability let him bend light around his body, making him almost invisible. Only his glowing yellow eyes might give him away. But humans could not see well in the dark. Through the window, he watched the family eat their meal. The cub was small, probably young even for a human. It would not be able to fight back or run fast. The hunt would be over quickly. Kethvar waited until the adult humans went to their sleeping room. The cub stayed in the main area playing with some kind of toy. Perfect. The warrior could enter, make the kill, and leave before the adults knew what happened. He found an air vent on the side of the building. His claws made quick work of the metal cover. Zilani were excellent climbers, and the vent was big enough for his thin body. He crawled through the dark passage until he reached another opening inside the building. The cub was still playing on the floor, making soft noises and moving the toy around. HFY could smell the human scent now, strange but not unpleasant, different from any creature he had hunted before. He positioned himself above the ceiling panel, ready to drop down. This was it, his first kill, his passage into adulthood. The elders back home would finally respect him. He would have a name song and a place at the warrior table. HFY took a deep breath and prepared to strike. The human cub had no idea death was hanging over its head. In a few seconds, it would all be over. But something made him pause. The cub was not afraid. It was making happy sounds, completely unaware of any danger. There was something innocent about the scene that HFY had never encountered before. He shook his head. This was weakness talking. He was a Zilani warrior. He had a job to do. The ceiling panel was loose. One push, and he would drop down behind the cub. Then a quick strike with his claws, and the hunt would be complete. HFY placed his hand on the panel and pushed. The ceiling panel fell to the floor with a loud crash. HFY dropped down behind the human cub, landing in a crouch with his claws out. His yellow eyes glowed in the dim light, and his mouth opened to show rows of sharp teeth. Jake spun around at the noise. His toy spaceship fell from his hands and clattered across the floor. HFY expected the cub to scream. He expected it to run or cry or fall down in fear. That was what prey did when they saw a Zilani warrior for the first time. Instead, Jake's eyes went wide with wonder. "Whoa!" the little boy said. "You're huge! Are you a space dinosaur?" HFY blinked his yellow eyes. This was not how hunts were supposed to go. The cub should be terrified, not excited. "I am HFY of the Zilani," he growled in his rough voice. "I am death. I am the hunter in the dark." Jake clapped his hands together. "That's so cool. I'm Jake. Do you really live in space? How did you get so big? Why do your eyes glow like that?" The Zilani warrior stood up to his full height of 8 feet. His scales were dark green with blue spots that glowed softly. Spikes ran along his back and arms. He was built for killing, a perfect predator. Jake was not impressed by the display of power. He was fascinated. "Can you turn invisible? I thought I saw you flicker when you dropped down. That's like a superpower." HFY tried again. He extended his claws to their full length and hissed loudly. The sound was meant to freeze blood and stop hearts. On his homeworld, it made grown warriors step back. Jake giggled. "You sound like my cat Whiskers when he's mad at the vacuum cleaner, but way louder. Can you do it again?" This was impossible. The cub showed no fear at all. HFY had never heard of such a thing. Every species in the galaxy feared the Zilani. It was natural law. "Why are you not afraid?" he asked. Jake shrugged. "Why should I be afraid? You haven't hurt me. You're just really big and different. Different is cool." HFY sat down hard on the floor. He was so confused that his hunting instincts completely shut down. The cub was talking to him like they were friends meeting for the first time. "Are you okay?" Jake asked. "You look sad. Do you want to play with my spaceship? It makes neat sounds." The boy picked up his toy and pressed a button. Electronic beeps and whooshes filled the room. Jake made the ship fly in circles around HFY's head. "See? It's exploring new worlds and meeting alien friends, just like we're doing right now. Kethvar watched the toy move through the air. No one had ever called him a friend before. Zalani did not have friends. They had packmates and rivals and prey. But this human cub was treating him like something else entirely. "Your parents," Kethvar said. "Where are they?" "Sleeping. Mom works really hard helping hurt people feel better. Dad fixes the big machines. They're tired a lot." Jake landed his spaceship on Kethvar's knee. "Are your parents here too?" "No. I am alone." "That's sad. Everyone should have family." Jake looked thoughtful. "Maybe you can meet my mom and dad tomorrow. They might be scared at first because you're so big, but they're nice people." Kethvar felt something strange in his chest. It was warm and confusing. He had never experienced anything like it before. "I came here to hunt," he said quietly. "Hunt for what? Food? There's not much good food here. Mostly just protein bars and soup. But Mom makes really good cookies sometimes. I came to hunt you." Jake tilted his head like a confused puppy. "Hunt me? Like hide and seek? I'm really good at that game." "No. Hunt you to kill you." The words hung in the air between them. Jake looked at Kethvar for a long moment, studying his face. "But you didn't," Jake said finally. "No, I did not." "Why not?" Kethvar did not have an answer. He had trained his whole life for this moment. He knew exactly how to kill quickly and cleanly. He had practiced on smaller creatures and artificial targets. He was ready. But sitting here looking at this small human who showed no fear and offered friendship, Kethvar could not remember why killing seemed important. "I do not know," he said. Jake smiled and patted Kethvar's scaly arm. "That's okay. Sometimes I don't know things either. Mom says that's how we learn." The touch was gentle and warm. Kethvar had never been touched without violence or aggression. His people did not show affection through contact. This was completely new. "Are you hungry?" Jake asked. "I can get you some cookies if you want. They're chocolate chip." "What is chocolate chip?" "The best kind of cookie. Come on, I'll show you." Jake stood up and grabbed Kethvar's massive clawed hand. The little boy tried to pull the 8-foot alien toward the kitchen, but Kethvar was far too heavy to move. "You have to help," Jake said, tugging harder. "I'm not strong enough to move you by myself." Kethvar looked down at the small hand holding his. Those tiny fingers were wrapped around claws that could cut through metal. The cub trusted him completely. Slowly, carefully, Kethvar stood up and let Jake lead him to the kitchen. The boy chattered the whole way, talking about cookies and milk and how his mom let him help bake sometimes. In the kitchen, Jake climbed on a chair to reach a high cabinet. He pulled out a container and opened it to reveal round brown discs with dark spots. "Try one," Jake said, holding out a cookie. Kethvar took the small food item between two claws and sniffed it. It smelled sweet and strange. He took a tiny bite. The taste was unlike anything from his home world, sweet and rich with an interesting texture. His people ate meat and simple vegetables. This was something completely different. "Good, right?" Jake asked, munching on his own cookie. "It is pleasant," Kethvar admitted. Jake beamed with pride like he had created the cookie himself. "I knew you'd like it. Want some milk to go with it?" As Jake poured 2 glasses of white liquid, Kethvar realized his entire mission had failed. He was supposed to be a fearsome hunter completing his first kill. Instead, he was sitting in a human kitchen eating cookies with his intended prey. And somehow that felt right. Kethvar finished his second cookie and watched Jake drink his milk. The human cub had white liquid on his upper lip, which he wiped away with the back of his hand. Everything about this situation was wrong according to Zalani training, but Kethvar found himself relaxing for the first time since arriving on this planet. "Can you show me your invisible thing again?" Jake asked. "That was really neat." Kethvar hesitated. His camouflage ability was a weapon, not entertainment. But the eager look on Jake's face made him want to please the cub. "Watch carefully," Kethvar said. He activated his light-bending ability. His body became translucent, like looking through clear water. Only a faint outline remained visible, along with his glowing yellow eyes. Jake gasped and clapped. "That's amazing! How do you do it? Is it magic?" "Not magic. My people evolved this way. We bend light around our bodies to hunt." Kethvar became fully visible again. "It helps us catch prey that cannot see us coming. Can you teach me?" Jake asked hopefully. "No, only Zalani can do this. It is part of our biology." Jake looked disappointed for a moment, then brightened up. "That's okay. Can you show me your claws next? They look really sharp." Kethvar extended his claws fully. Each one was 6 inches long, curved, and razor-sharp. They could tear through most materials and were his primary weapons. "Wow!" Jake reached out to touch them. "No!" Kethvar pulled his hand back quickly. "They are very sharp. They will cut you." "Oh, sorry. I just wanted to see how they felt." Jake studied the claws from a safe distance. "Do they hurt when they come out?" "No. It is natural for us." "Cool. What else can you do?" Kethvar found himself demonstrating his various abilities like a performer instead of a hunter. He showed Jake how his scales could change color slightly to match his surroundings. He explained how his yellow eyes could see in complete darkness. He even demonstrated his enhanced hearing by telling Jake exactly what his parents were doing in their bedroom. "Dad's snoring," Jake giggled. "He always does that. Mom says it sounds like a broken engine." Suddenly, loud alarms began blaring throughout the colony. Red lights flashed in the kitchen windows. Jake jumped up from his chair looking worried. "That's the emergency alarm," he said. "Something's wrong." Kethvar's predator instincts kicked in. The alarms meant the colony's security had detected something. Probably him. His ship was well hidden, but maybe he had triggered some sensor while approaching the building. "We need to hide," Kethvar said, standing up quickly. "Hide? Why?" Jake asked. Before Kethvar could answer, they heard heavy boots running outside. Voices shouted orders back and forth. The security team was mobilizing. "Jake!" Lisa Miller's voice called from the bedroom. "Jake, where are you?" "In the kitchen, Mom," Jake called back. Lisa and Pete Miller rushed into the kitchen in their night clothes. Lisa saw Jake standing next to the massive alien and screamed. Pete grabbed a kitchen knife and stepped in front of his wife. "Get away from my son!" Pete shouted. Kethvar automatically moved into a defensive position, his claws extending. But then he realized he was standing between the parents and Jake, not threatening the cub. His body had moved to protect the human child without his conscious thought. "Wait," Jake said, stepping between his parents and Kethvar. "He's my friend. His name is Kethvar, and he's really nice." "Jake, get away from that thing right now," Lisa ordered. "He's not a thing, Mom. He's a person, just different from us." Pete kept the knife pointed at Kethvar. "What do you want with our son?" Kethvar looked at the terrified parents, then at Jake, who was still trying to protect him. The truth was too complicated to explain quickly. "I was hungry," he said. "The cub gave me food." It was not exactly a lie. Jake had given him cookies. He just left out the part about originally planning to kill and eat Jake himself. See? Jake said. He was just hungry. Mom, you always say we should help people who need food. Lisa looked between her son and the alien. Her medical training told her to look for injuries, and she could see that neither Jake nor the alien appeared hurt. How did you get in here? Pete asked. Kethvar pointed to the ceiling where the panel had fallen. Through the air system, more shouts came from outside. Flashlight beams swept past the windows. The security team was getting closer. They're looking for him, Pete realized. We have to help him, Jake said. He didn't do anything wrong. Jake, you don't understand, Lisa said. This is a dangerous situation. No, it's not. Kethvar is nice. He showed me his claws and his invisible trick, and we ate cookies together. Captain Roy Barnes's voice boomed through a speaker outside. Attention, unknown intruder. We have you surrounded. Come out with your hands visible, or we will use force. Kethvar looked at the family. The parents were scared but trying to stay calm for their son. Jake was still standing protectively in front of him, completely unafraid. I should go, Kethvar said. I do not want trouble for your family. You can't go out there, Jake said. They have guns. They might hurt you. I am a warrior. I can defend myself. But you might have to hurt them back. Then everyone would be sad. The simple logic hit Kethvar hard. If he fought the security team, people would get hurt or killed. If he surrendered, they would probably kill him anyway. Either choice led to violence and death. There has to be another way, Jake said, looking up at his parents. Right, Mom? Dad? Lisa and Pete looked at each other. Their son had somehow made friends with an alien predator, and now he was asking them to save its life. Outside, the security team was getting closer. Time was running out. Captain Roy Barnes kicked down the front door of the Miller family home. 6 security guards followed him inside, weapons ready. They expected to find a crime scene with alien predator standing over human victims. Instead, they found 7-year-old Jake Miller sitting cross-legged on the living room floor across from an 8-foot-tall reptilian alien. Both of them had their hands flat on the carpet between them, and Jake was explaining something with great enthusiasm. So you put your X here, then I put my O there, and whoever gets 3 in a row wins. It's called tic-tac-toe. See? Kethvar studied the simple pattern of lines Jake had drawn on a piece of paper. The human cub was teaching him a game instead of running away in terror. This was perhaps the strangest moment in Kethvar's entire life. Freeze! Nobody move! Captain Barnes shouted. Both Jake and Kethvar looked up. Jake waved cheerfully at the security team. Hi, Captain Barnes. This is my new friend Kethvar. He's learning how to play tic-tac-toe. The security guards kept their weapons trained on Kethvar, who remained perfectly still. He could kill half of them before they could react, but Jake was sitting right next to him. Any violence would put the cub in danger. Jake, move away from that creature right now, Captain Barnes ordered. He's not a creature, he's a person, and his name is Kethvar, not that creature. Dr. Lisa Miller pushed through the security team. Jake, please come here. We need to talk. But, Mom, we're in the middle of a game. Kethvar was just starting to understand the rules. Lisa knelt down carefully, staying far enough away that she could grab Jake and run if needed. Honey, I know you think you're helping, but this is very dangerous. No, it's not. Look. Jake reached over and patted Kethvar's massive arm. See? He's gentle. Captain Barnes nearly fired his weapon when the child touched the alien. But Kethvar did not react with violence. He just looked confused and sad. Jake, Kethvar said quietly. Your people are afraid of me. I should leave. But we haven't finished our game yet. There will be no game, Captain Barnes said. Step away from the alien, Jake. Now. Jake stood up, but did not move away from Kethvar. Instead, he moved slightly in front of the alien, as if his small body could protect the 8-foot warrior. You can't hurt him, Jake said. He's my friend. Pete Miller entered the room carrying a medical scanner that Lisa had given him. I've been checking the house. No signs of violence anywhere. No damage except the ceiling panel. What's your point? Captain Barnes asked. My point is that thing has been alone with my son for over an hour, and Jake doesn't have a scratch on him. Captain Barnes kept his weapon aimed at Kethvar. Maybe it was playing with its food. I do not eat human meat, Kethvar said in his rough voice. Your species tastes unpleasant. See? Jake said. He doesn't want to eat us. He just wanted cookies. Lisa looked at the alien more carefully. As a doctor, she was trained to observe details. The creature's body language was not aggressive. Its claws were retracted, not extended. Its posture was defensive, protective even. What are you? She asked. I am Zalani, a hunter from the outer systems. What are you hunting? Kethvar looked down at Jake, who was still standing protectively in front of him. The answer to that question would probably get him killed immediately. I was hunting your son, he said honestly. Captain Barnes's finger tightened on his weapon trigger. Several guards stepped forward. Lisa gasped and reached for Jake. But I failed, Kethvar continued. I cannot harm him now. Why not? Pete asked. Kethvar struggled to find words for feelings he had never experienced before. He shows no fear. He offers friendship. He gives food and teaches games. I do not understand it, but I cannot hurt something that trusts me. Jake turned around to look at Kethvar. You were going to hurt me? Yes. It is my purpose. My culture demands it. Jake thought about this for a moment. But you changed your mind? Yes. Good. I like you better as a friend than as a hunter. Captain Barnes lowered his weapon slightly. This is insane. We're talking to an alien predator like it's a neighbor. He is talking back, Lisa pointed out. And he's been honest about his intentions. That's something. He tried to kill Jake, but he didn't, Pete said. That has to count for something. Jake walked over to Captain Barnes. Please don't hurt Kethvar. He's nice. He just didn't understand that humans can be friends with different people. Jake, you don't understand how dangerous this situation is. I understand that everybody's scared, but Kethvar is scared too. Look at him. Everyone turned to look at Kethvar. The massive alien was indeed showing signs of stress. His scales had shifted to a darker color and his glowing spots were dim. He looked like a cornered animal. He's far from home, Jake continued. He doesn't know our ways. Maybe he just needs someone to teach him, like I taught him tic-tac-toe. Dr. Lisa Miller made a decision that would change everything. She walked slowly toward Kethvar, ignoring the protests from the security team. I'm a doctor, she said to the alien. Are you injured? Do you need medical attention? Kethvar stared at her. You offer help? Even though I came to kill your offspring? You didn't kill him. That's what matters now. Mom's really good at helping people feel better, Jake added. She helped me when I broke my arm last year. Kethvar looked around the room at all the humans. Some were still afraid and angry, but others were showing something he had never encountered before. They were showing mercy to an enemy. I do not understand your species, he said. Jake grinned. That's okay. We're pretty weird sometimes. But we're good at making friends if you give us a chance. Captain Barnes shook his head. This is the strangest first contact situation in human history. Maybe that's a good thing, Lisa said. Maybe it's time to try something different. Outside, more vehicles were arriving. The situation was getting bigger and more complicated by the minute. But inside the Miller family home, a small human boy had somehow turned a deadly hunt into an opportunity for friendship. Kethavar realized his life as a Zalani warrior was over. He could never go home after this failure. But looking at Jake's trusting smile, he wondered if maybe he had found something better than the life he had lost. The Miller family living room had become the strangest meeting place in human history. Captain Barnes had ordered his security team to lower their weapons but stay ready. Dr. Lisa Miller sat across from Kethavar with Jake between them, trying to establish communication that went beyond the basic words they had already exchanged. "Can you tell us more about your people?" Lisa asked carefully. Kethavar's yellow eyes dimmed as he considered the question. Speaking about Zalani culture too, potential prey was against everything he had been taught. But these humans had shown him mercy when they could have killed him. "Zilani are hunters. We have always been hunters. It is our way." "But why do you hunt people who can think and talk?" Jake asked. "That seems mean." "It is not mean. It is survival. The strongest survive, the weak do not. This has kept our people alive for thousands of years." Pete Miller sat down carefully, still ready to grab Jake if needed. "So hunting intelligent species is like a test?" "Yes. Young warriors must prove they can kill thinking prey. It shows they are ready to be adults and protect the tribe." Jake wrinkled his nose. "That's a weird way to become a grown-up. Humans just have birthday parties." "What is a birthday party?" Kethavar asked. "It's when you celebrate getting older. Everyone brings presents and you eat cake and have fun with friends." Kethavar had no reference for such a concept. Zalani marked age by accomplishments in hunting and fighting, not celebrations. Captain Barnes spoke up from near the door. "So you came here to kill Jake as some kind of graduation requirement?" "Yes, but I have failed. I cannot return home now." "Why not?" Lisa asked. "Failed hunters are exiled or executed. There is no place for weakness among the Zalani." Jake looked horrified. "They would kill you just for not killing me? That's terrible." "It is our way," Kethavar said simply. "Well, it's a stupid way," Jake declared. "Our way is better. We help each other instead of hurting each other." Captain Barnes received an urgent message on his communication device. He listened with a frown, then addressed the room. "We have a problem. Long-range sensors have detected multiple ships approaching the system, both human and unknown alien signatures." "How long until they arrive?" Pete asked. 12 hours, maybe less." Lisa turned to Kethavar. "Are those your people?" "Probably. If I have been gone too long, they will come to investigate. They will also bring the hunting council to witness my success or failure. And if they find out—" "You failed?" Kethavar's scales darkened. "They will kill me and finish the hunt themselves. Your colony will be destroyed as punishment for interfering." Jake jumped up. "We can't let that happen. There has to be something we can do." Captain Barnes was already making calls to Colonial Command. "This is New Haven Station requesting immediate military support. We have a first contact situation that's about to turn into a war." "Wait," Lisa said. "Before we start shooting at each other, maybe we should try talking first." "Mom's right," Jake said. "Kethavar, can you talk to your people? Can you explain that humans are nice?" "They will not listen. Zalani do not negotiate with prey species." "But we're not prey," Jake insisted. We're friends. There's a difference. HFY looked at the small human who had completely upended his understanding of the universe. You do not understand. To Zalani, there are only hunters and prey. Nothing else exists. Then maybe it's time for something new to exist, Lisa said quietly. Captain Barnes finished his emergency calls and turned back to the group. Colonial Command is sending a battle fleet, but they won't arrive for 18 hours. The alien ships will be here first. What about civilian evacuation? Pete asked. No time. We have 800 people on this colony and only enough transport for 200. Jake looked around at all the worried adults. So we're stuck here? Yes, son. We're stuck here. HFY stood up slowly, his massive frame towering over everyone in the room. There is another way. What do you mean? Captain Barnes asked. I can return to my ship and leave this system. When the hunting council arrives, they will find no trace of me or any hunt. They may assume I died in some accident. Would that work? Lisa asked. Perhaps. But they will still investigate the colony. If they discover evidence of contact between us, they will destroy everything anyway. Jake grabbed HFY's arm. You can't leave. You're my friend. I must. It is the only way to protect you and your people. No, Jake said firmly. There has to be a better way. We just have to think harder. Dr. Lisa Miller looked at her son, then at the alien warrior who had somehow become part of their family in the space of a few hours. An idea began forming in her mind. HFY, what if you didn't fail your hunt? I do not understand. What if you succeeded but in a different way? What if instead of killing a human you captured one? Captain Barnes stepped forward. Dr. Miller, what are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that maybe we can satisfy Zalani culture without anyone dying. HFY returns to his people with a captured human. He gets his warrior status and we get to open diplomatic relations instead of starting a war. That's brilliant, Mom, Jake said. I volunteer to be captured. Absolutely not, Pete said immediately. Why not? It's perfect. HFY gets to be a successful hunter, and I get to meet more aliens. HFY stared at Lisa. You would sacrifice your offspring to save your colony? I'm not sacrificing him. I'm trusting you to protect him. The Zalani Council would never accept a captured prey. They would demand proof of death. Jake thought for a moment. What if I was really good at playing dead? I'm pretty good at pretend games. This is insane, Captain Barnes muttered. It's crazy enough that it might work, Pete said slowly. If we can convince HFY's people that they've won without actually losing anyone. Lisa looked directly at HFY. The question is, can we trust you to keep Jake safe? HFY met her gaze. A few hours ago, he would have laughed at such a question. Now, looking at Jake's hopeful face, he realized that protecting this human cub had become more important to him than his own survival. Yes, he said. I will protect him with my life. Jake grinned and hugged HFY's arm. See? I told you. We could figure something out. This is going to be the best adventure ever. Outside, the first alien ships were already appearing on the colony's long-range sensors. Time was running out, and they were about to attempt the most dangerous diplomatic mission in human history.